Coming up, highlights from a mayoral candidate forum tonight in London.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A mayoral forum in London Tuesday evening gave the three candidates a chance to share their vision for the city's future. The full question and answer session will be available on WYMT.com later, but WYMT's Zach Hawk has a summary of the mostly friendly event.
The London Mayoral Forum is different from a debate in one key way. The candidates are not allowed to directly address each other and instead must focus on answering questions and offering rebuttals to the audience.
Now, this is not a debate, but a political forum. So speak to the audience or the moderator, but not your opponent.
The candidates are businessman Jacob Kirby, businessman Randall Weddle, and current city council member Judd Weaver. Each was given a 90-second opportunity to introduce themselves.
We believe it's a time that we as a community understand the accomplishments that we've made as a community, but that we need to go further in those accomplishments and understand that economic growth must happen.
Everything that I've worked for in my life, all of my experiences, whether it be work-related, friendship, whether it be municipal, government, education, all of it is right here tonight.
My goal as mayor is I want to make London open for business. We need to have the easiest city to work in that we possibly can have and cut any red tape and get London back to work.
The approximately 40-minute question and answer session was mostly civil, but in a press-only Q&A after the forum, things got a bit more contentious during the discussion about business incentives.
So your goal as mayor is to get tax breaks for your business?
No, I did not say that.
Well, you said you didn't get anything, and like you were upset
My
about it.
building's not even in the city limits,
Right, I understand.
and it won't be. So how am I getting tax breaks?
Well, it sounds like you want them to ask.
No,
ask
sir.
For them. Okay.
How did I ask for them?
Well,
Any further questions?
Yeah.
The primary election will take place on May 17th in London. Zach Hawk, WYMT Mountain News.
The top two candidates in the May 17th election move on to the general election in November. Now, we are also posting the entire video of the forum and the video of the press-only question and answer session on WYMT.com. It's not up yet. It takes a little while to post those long videos, but hopefully it'll be up sometime overnight. Well, Governor Andy Beshear cited drafting errors as his reason for vetoing legislation intended to expand the use of state lottery-supported scholarship money. The governor says he supports the bill's original intentions, including expanding scholarship funding for proprietary education and for nonviolent offenders under the Kentucky Educational Excellence Scholarship Program, but believes the drafting errors would lead to unintended consequences that would undermine the bill. The governor urged lawmakers to fix the errors in another bill next year. The Wolfe County Search and Rescue Team saved 3 kayakers who were forced to shelter overnight. The rescue team says the kayakers ended up on the wrong section of the Upper Red River yesterday. Their kayaks were flipped multiple times. The rescue team says the kayakers were found today by a member of Powell County Search and Rescue who was hiking nearby. Luckily, the kayakers had food, a flashlight, and were able to start a fire to stay warm overnight. Buckhorn Lake State Resort Park is looking to hire some seasonal help. Park manager Chris Fugit tells us he's looking to fill nearly a dozen positions, from cooks to servers. He says you do not necessarily need experience, but it is preferred. The park's busiest times are coming up from late May until mid-August.
Still looking for maybe at least one for front desk, and actually looking for a part-time, at least summer rec person to do kind of some recreation with our guests, you know, on the weekends and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now.
The park manager also tells us he has filled at least 3 of the positions.
Well, it was a gloomy start to the day on our Tuesday, but we improved upon that as the day went on. Eventually topped out in the low 60s and saw plenty of sunshine earlier on. Now, That is leading to the potential for frost conditions as we head into the overnight. Everybody's under a frost advisory tonight, and you can thank clear skies. We see that outside. I-75 at Mount Vernon. Well, you can't really see the sky necessarily, but trust me when I say things are moving swimmingly outside, and things are all clear outside as well. I-64 at Moorhead, a similar scene. We ended up in the low to mid 60s around the region today as we brought up some of that warmer air once the sun came out. Look at Middlesboro, got up to 68. Temperatures right now down into the 40s and 50s, mostly 40s though, and we'll continue to drop those into the overnight. Clear skies overhead. That means we're going to be dealing with some frost and freeze conditions overnight as lows get down into the upper 30s, mostly clear and cold with calm winds. That's a recipe for frost. I'll have the details on who's most at risk and when we see temperatures get back a little closer to normal coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. A Whitley County man wanted for robbing a market in Williamsburg is now behind bars. Deputies were searching for Bobby Canada, wanted on warrants for robbery and criminal mischief. Deputies say Canada entered the Canada Town Market off Kentucky 204 with a hammer, which deputies say he used to destroy a gaming machine to get the cash box inside. The store clerk confronted Canada, who then threatened the clerk before leaving with a handful of cash. He was found off Henry Barton Road in Corbin, where he was arrested. Deputies also arrested Destiny Hatfield, who they say drove Canada to the location and had been questioned twice about his whereabouts. Both were taken to the Whitley County Detention Center. The suspect in a dramatic police chase in Powell County has been indicted. Aaron Elliott faces a list of charges, including 4 counts of wanton endangerment, drunk driving, and assault of a police officer. Cell phone video of that chase has been viewed more than 1 million times. It appears to show Elliott hit a police car on the Mountain Parkway before crashing and trying to run. His case will now move to circuit court. A teacher accused of having sex with a student in Lee County was in court today. Courtney Horn was arraigned in district court this morning. Her attorney entered a not guilty plea on her behalf, and the judge moved her case forward for a preliminary hearing next month. Horn was fired from her job as a PE teacher at Lee County Middle High School after the alleged relationship was reported. Police say Horn admitted to engaging in sexual activity with a 16-year-old female student at her house after school hours. In a statement, the superintendent says the district, quote, will not tolerate any behavior that puts the physical or social, emotional well-being of our students at risk. A Rockcastle County mother is facing charges after deputies say her child called 911. Casey Ballinger has 4 children. Her arrest citation says her 10-year-old son called 911 saying she was on drugs and he was afraid she was going to hurt them. The deputies say Ballinger allowed officers to search her bag, and they say they found needles inside. They say she also admitted to using heroin. The children were all removed from the home. Ballinger is facing endangering the welfare of a minor and drug charges. Thousands of pounds of relief supplies are on the way to help people caught in the refugee crisis in Poland, thanks to UPS. They are transporting about 45,000 pounds of humanitarian relief for Ukrainian refugees from its Worldport air hub in Louisville to Warsaw. Things like medical goods, food, and water purification equipment. The shipments will go to agencies helping with the growing refugee crisis resulting from the military action in Ukraine. Louisville-based SOS International is one of the shippers. It is a global health nonprofit, and they've been sending aid for the past 4 weeks.
When our first shipment arrived, our partner on the ground called me crying. They were so overwhelmed with emotion that here in Louisville, here in the United States, that we would care so much about what they're going through, that we would work so hard to respond.
Examples of medical supplies that are being sent include wound dressings, oxygen supplies, crutches, masks, and gloves. State police are inviting folks to cover their cruisers in stickers. It's part of their Cover the Cruiser Week, which raises money for Special Olympics Kentucky. They offer year-round sports and competition for those with intellectual disabilities. Every year, they support more than 11,000 athletes in the Commonwealth.
What we really do is change lives through sports. Everybody who's ever competed in sports at any level sort of understands the lessons that sports teaches us, how to work with a team, how to work with, a leader in your coach.
Last year, Cover the Cruiser raised more than $20,000 for the Special Olympics. The next opportunity to cover a cruiser will be this Thursday at the Walmart in Hazard. For years, daily low-dose aspirin was recommended to prevent heart attack and stroke. Scientists now see little benefit for most healthy people and say it may contribute to a risk of bleeding in your stomach or brain that goes up as you get older. The latest recommendations are from the U.S. Preventive Service Task Force. The group now says people older than 60 should not start taking a daily aspirin for primary prevention of heart problems. New brain simulation treatments seem to help smokers quit. New research in the journal Addiction found smokers who received non-invasive brain stimulation had a higher likelihood of being able to sustain not smoking than smokers who received a simulation of the treatment. Tomorrow, Morehead State University will commemorate a special gift. The university has 4 new bronze bells. They'll go in the Little Bell Tower. It was built in 1997 and was a gift from the late Lucille Cottle Little, a longtime Lexington philanthropist. The tower has been silent for years, needing repairs. The Student Government Association helped raise the money for the bells. There will be a ribbon-cutting ceremony tomorrow to celebrate the addition. This Saturday marks Independent Bookstore Day, a nationwide event that celebrates independently owned bookstores and offers deals for readers to take advantage of. But with only a handful of such bookstores in our region, Eastern Kentuckians have limited access to those deals. The owner of Hazard's Red Spotted Newt bookstore, Mandy Scheffel, says although she cannot pinpoint why this is, she says a big concern for bookstore owners is how digitized the world is becoming.
Convenience, I think, is big, and people are really accustomed now to not even having to leave the house. You know, you have the option where anything can come to your doorstep.
Scheffel adds that bookstores offer a service that no other business can provide. She says although she's proud to own one of the few bookstores in the region, every town should have their own. Kroger Field's first ever concert helped raise more than $1 million for charity. The Lexington Herald Leader reports Chris Stapleton's Concert for Kentucky raised the money for his charity, the Outlaw State of Kind Hometown Fund. The Saturday night concert was sold out at Kroger Field. Fans also saw performances from Willie Nelson, who will be 89 Friday, Sheryl Crow, and Madeline Edwards. Churchill Downs in Louisville is now open free of charge daily from 7 to 10 a.m. so that you can watch Derby and Oaks contenders in their morning workouts. Churchill Downs Paddock Grill will be open each morning with breakfast food options. This free morning training will last through Wednesday, May 4th. The first African-American owned distillery in Kentucky will serve their bourbon during next week's Great Steamboat Race. Bro Brothers Distillery is owned and operated by brothers Victor, Bryson, and Chris Yarbrough. They held a special tasting this morning to determine which batch of bourbon will be served on the Belle of Louisville during the race.
We grew up watching this event. You know, coming from the west end of Louisville, being able to see this, actually be able to participate as an official sponsor, that's really special, full circle for us. So we hope that everyone enjoys the event, enjoys our bourbon.
The race is next Wednesday. Tickets for the Belle of Louisville are sold out. Tickets for the Belle of Cincinnati are still available. Coming up at 11, educating Eastern Kentuckians. We talk with Remake Learning Days project organizers about their efforts and what they hope to accomplish.
But first, cool air continues through the remainder of the work week as high pressure works in. I've got the latest on our frost potential coming up.
Are you ready for